As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Please don't let me, I'm gonna die!
Taking them so long.
Hey, these guys are professionals. They're the best.
Totally. I hate a guy with a car and no sense of humor.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Oh, yeah, the Great Bambino. Of course. I thought you said the Great Bambi.
It's the Al Travis Show. Lucky to have our next guest on. He's Senator Andrew Lang. Senator, how you doing today, my friend?
Not too bad, Al. Good to talk to you.
It has been, and I got to get you on a regular. Just I find that you're so easy to fill in. Something's open. I'm like, hey, Senator Lang might come on. It's been a while, and you always make it work. I use you, and I appreciate it. Before we get to the big stuff, your thoughts on your Minnesota Vikings, Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin, lost for the Vikings 24-21.
Well, I guess I'm the atypical Minnesota fan where I have a bucket of hope that I carry everywhere with me, and the team keeps shooting holes in it. But yeah, it was a little rough yesterday watching that, especially when I have family members that love the Steelers so much, and the text messages started coming through. And I was at work, so I couldn't watch the game. I just had to get it secondhand. So yeah, it was a little. Ugh.
I don't know what you do with the front line that's gone. You can have all the offensive power you want, but if you can't get it set up and make it work, you're in trouble. It's going to be tough to watch. The other one, real quick, I don't know if you follow the Lynx much, but the Lynx and the Phoenix folks end up beating us 86-81. The Lynx are out, and this is one of those where we were supposed to go all the way. This was our year, and we demolished ourselves. We had a 20-point lead in the third game and 14 or 15 in this last one, and out. We're done. Doesn't bother you?
Back to the.
It's so Minnesota-like, but that's okay. Yeah. The Timberwolves and the Wild are all getting started now, so we have other things to switch. I'm not getting off the Viking bandwagon. I still think we have, if you do the math, we control our own destiny. If we win out, we'll win the division. So we still can. Still have that hope. Let's talk some work stuff. And I asked this of Senator Kupik about an hour ago.
Okay.
The governor is coming out now. The news story today is that the governor is now proposing he might want to do a constitutional amendment here in Minnesota to ban guns. This was news to Representative Demuth. It was news to a lot of folks. And my thought is, and I'm going to throw them all together, a story this morning was about another fraud investigation. The DHS has paused some payments to somebody, and I start reading the story, and I realized it wasn't the one I thought it was from 2 days ago. And it's like, I need a program to keep up with the fraud, and I think there's some politics here. Do we need a constitutional amendment? I don't know. We could have that conversation, but this came out of nowhere, and it came out, in my opinion, because we can't keep track of the fraud, and it boots fraud off the front page of the paper. Is that me being too cynical, sir, or do you think there might be something there?
Oh, no, you've been around politics long enough to know how this works. But what can we do to take it out of the news? What can we do to, change the topic of conversation? Let's throw something out there crazy. Let's do a constitutional amendment, because those always are, set in stone, and you can never change them, and it takes a vote and all those things, because he thinks that the public is behind him. Well, when you take polls from the Metro and you get 700 people to say, yeah, we should have banned assault weapons, even though if you asked them what an assault weapon was, they wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
Right, that tends to be an issue. But, yeah, the governor, for some reason, I don't know if it's a re-election campaign, it's starting early or what it is. Even when it came back to the special session, that all the Democratic leaders within the House and the Senate kind of had a funny look on their face, because
Your audio seems to be checking out on you, sir. Are you good?
Get you back.
There you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was the governor. When he announced it, there was a lot of funny looking faces behind him. If you watch the video, like, oh crap, like they didn't know it was coming. So yeah, it's just the governor being the governor, and it's been how long has he been in? 7 years that it's been us as the Minnesota public and the politicians that serve learning how this guy operates. And that's it. It's like, well, okay, special session. Well, Governor, if you want to call a special session, one, you have to have the votes to pass anything you want to do. He doesn't have those. I mean, if you talked to Kupek a little while ago,
Yep.
Kupek's not going to vote for it. Hochschild's not going to vote for it. Seeberger's not going to vote for it. And there's no Republicans going to vote for it because we know we are all, educated enough to know that it doesn't make a difference when you want to have a goal of protecting our kids, right? Yep. And this comes from the same party that, 2 years ago took SROs out of the schools. A year before that, they cut our public school safety budget. And it's like, the hypocrisy is so deep at this point. Why don't, and I think the public understands that. The public can look at us and go, we get it. You've thrown some gun safety laws at us. Universal background checks, the binary trigger ban that was never going to do anything. That's just a way to get at gun folks. And then the red flag law, the one that's supposed to protect us from, all the people that are mentally unstable and going to, that's the one that's really supposed to help. And at the time, I'm looking at the law and looking at the problems that we have and going, hey, they don't mesh. They don't work. Well, why?
See, but that's before I let you, we'll go down each one of those red flag laws. Have a great article in the paper today as well. But just this idea of this possibly being political, what Kupek said, I'm paraphrasing though, you don't even have the numbers of senators to get her done. You're each down one. You're 33. It takes 34 votes to pass anything. So the governor said even after the Constitution Amendment, he may still call this special session, even if it's hard for some of his people to take these votes. If it isn't because he needs it for his political run for governor a third term, why would anyone do this? He literally says, I understand there aren't the numbers to get it passed. I just need it out there that I want it. This is straight a political play for governor, right? I mean, that's what I want to get to. This is his play for governor.
Absolutely. They had the trifecta. They had the power to do this. They chose not to. One, because it's political suicide, right? It's been political suicide since I've been in the legislature. And it's just, I don't know. You've kind of hit the nail on the head there, Al, because it's just, it doesn't make sense. There's a multitude of things that as Republicans, the thing that we said as a caucus, and this is sometimes doesn't get reported in the news that, because Republicans don't get coverage. We just don't. We know that. The Star Tribune's never going to be good to us. But we said, okay, calls to special session, do it. But guess who gets to, gavel us out is us. So you can call us, but we're going to be there. We're going to talk about everything, all the mental health stuff. All the what's the number one drop charge in the state of Minnesota is felon in possession of a weapon. Our recidivism rate's still at almost 40. So
really,
40% of people that get out of prison go right back in for one reason or another. Or the mandatory minimums that we talk about, like there are. Guess what? If you're a felon in possession of a weapon, you go for, I think it's 15 or 20 years mandatory. So they drop that right away because they don't want to send people away. Well. Yeah, we have issues with that. And then,
what about that? Let's throw Mary Let me throw Mary Moriarty at you in Minneapolis, the chief prosecutor there, saying, hey, you know what? You get pulled over for a small crime, speeding, headlight out, taillight out, whatever it is, we pull you, and we find out felonious stuff going on, meth in your car, whatever. She says, we won't prosecute that. That's not fair to you because we pulled you over for something small. Sir, you raise kids. If a kid wants a cookie, you say nobody takes a cookie. The next time he wants a cookie, he's taken two if you don't do something to stop the first one. What in God's green earth does it make anyone say in her line of work, we're not going to prosecute you for the big stuff because of the reason we found you? It was just a flat tire, whatever it is. What do you think of that, sir? And then I'll go to break.
Well, here's the thing. That makes no sense whatsoever. And this is very anti-political. This isn't right versus left. This is just, what the heck are you doing? This makes no sense. In the metro, don't ever pay for a parking because you can't get a parking ticket that matters. If everybody remembered just a couple of years ago, you could have 100 parking tickets on your record You never have to pay them. It doesn't hurt your record. They can never garnish your wages or do anything like that, or even hurt your license. So why would you pay for a parking pass? You don't.
Yeah,
There's no reason to. And tabs are the same way. You can't get pulled over for tabs. Why would you ever buy them?
Yeah, if you
drive the speed limit. These are laws that were passed.
I used to watch Cops all the time. I just loved that show back in the day. And it just dumbfounded me that these guys would have $1 million worth of crack cocaine in their $2,000 hoopty that didn't have lights on. It makes no sense to me. But anyway, they won't get caught in Minneapolis. We got to go to break. I want to talk about this fraud. Is there this endless pit of news stories? Again, this morning I'm reading on the Star Tribune about this new fraud thing, and you get about the fourth paragraph said, oh, this isn't the one from the day before yesterday when I left. This is cray-cray. We'll talk about it right after this with Senator Andrew Lang.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, you're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts. But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
Don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on the Al Travis Show.
We got Senator Lang with us. Senator, I would have told you that I thought fraud would be a big issue in the next election just because there's so much of it and people can basically understand that. I think we've gotten to a point that there is so much of that people are now almost callous to it. It's almost water on a duck's back. I sit here and read this stuff every day. And again, I was gone. I left Friday, so I took Friday, Saturday off. And I get today and I'm reading the story and I'm thinking, oh, that was from Thursday's fraud thing we saw. And it wasn't. It was a whole nother fraud thing. I got a written list now that I've come up with. Here's one for you. According to this gal from Hennepin County, one of the programs, this ICS program, it sounds great. Gives adults with disabilities the opportunity to live independently in communities. What does it mean? They could be being taught how to read street signs, send emails, cook, clean their house, or navigate public transit. Okay, let's say that's true. But if this is like the autism thing where Al doesn't have to have a license or anything, I can just start sending names into the state government and say, I help little Billy with his autism, and you send me checks. Are you telling me these people are doing nothing more than sending names and saying, I helped them learn how to clean their house. I helped them navigate public transit. And these people are saying none of this ever happened. It's the same fraud, different name. It can't be this easy, sir. I'm off my chart mad. Tell me it's not that easy. Good God.
Again, all right. As an elected official and a politician, and I hate using that terminology because I still don't think I'm much of a politician, but what I would say is from the get-go, you tried to take some of this with a grain of salt, right? Like, you might have the edges chewed a little bit here and there in a positive program. So in my position, it's like, okay, you look at things and you see the Feeding Our Future. You see some of the housing stuff as it comes through, and you're like, how much of this actually, went where it was supposed to go? And the more you dig in and the more you see over the course of the last 2 years, no, most of it was fraud. 90%, well, geez, all of it was fraud, Al. And the worst of it is from our position is we only do a couple of things, right? We write law and we spend money. When we spend money, we hand it out to these agencies and entrust them that the things that they are supposed to do with it get done with it. And we're all part-timers, right? I have a real job. I have a couple of real jobs. Yep. And you go to St. Paul, and when you leave there, you God dang it, you hope the governor and you hope the agencies and all those people that are full-timers are doing what they're supposed to do. This has gotten so out of hand. And the worst of it is I always had this feeling in the back of my neck when your hair stand up and you say, this doesn't seem right. How did this get so expensive? I don't understand. We're kind of been along for the ride for the last couple of years as well.
Absolutely.
So we don't control some of this stuff. Now, the thing that's surprising is like these nonprofit groups that are spending money like this keep coming to the legislature. They haven't backed off at all. They want to continue to do this. The saving grace is that some of this has come to light. It's shocking and staggering the amount of money that it is. And in fact, the U.S. attorney has put some stuff out there where we're talking, 6 times the amount what we thought it was. And the federal government is getting involved, thankfully. As the next year goes on during this gubernatorial race, I think a lot more of it's going to come out. And the thing that still hangs over my head is there hasn't been one state employee, one agency person that's been prosecuted or even let go or demoted or nothing. The state has been washing its hands saying we just couldn't stop this.
Well, they took that one away from you, sir, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the day the committee was getting together for one of these fraud deals, the Department of Human Services guy that was the assistant corporate guy in charge, they let him go that morning, 45 minutes before that. They let him go 45 minutes before, and then he said, I'm not going to the meeting because I've been fired. So they were going to have time. So that's the one they got rid of. And later that day, the governor said, you reelect me, I'm going to go after this fraud thing. And again, people don't pay enough attention, but now you can't say they don't fire anybody. One guy got fired out of all of this. What drives me,
because he was going to be a whistleblower.
See that, and now all of a sudden this guy says, well, I can't show up for your committee meeting. There is so much of this, and again, I don't know, we haven't hit that tipping point that there's so much of it, we can't keep track of it, and maybe it's already baked into the cookies when it comes to the polling and stuff. I can't understand how this governor thinks, with all of this coming out on a regular, that there's a real chance for a third term in Minnesota, but he does.
It's on the citizens of the state to make that decision.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough, sir. I appreciate you. You're just one of the good guys. You're always making it work, even if you got a call from your car or whatever. I thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for doing this for me.
Thanks, Al. Have a good day.
He is Senator Andrew Lang on the Al Travis Show.
If it's turned to host